So here for another footballing battle, man. And it's the battle of the number tens. Zil, Tari, Mesut Ozil, and Francesco Totti. I think two guys who perfectly pretty much exemplified how to play the number 10 position. You see, now we have false tens like Foden and so forth. But back then, the number 10 wasn't like a hybrid where you are there just to shoot first. No, your main function was to play, make, and create. If you could score as well, cool. But the main function was you are there to create. You're the Geppetto, you are the puppeteer, and the guy and necessarily trying to orchestrate things. You're the orchestrator, you're the conductor of this team. So let's get on it. First of all, talent. Who was more talented? This is hard. As we all know, your boy Ozil, amazing talent. I don't think that the game of football has seen many players that have a better eye for a pass than Ozil. Like, some of the passes that this guy has done is insane. Like, I cannot remember, you can't name me many players who have better vision than him. The things that he sees, I don't know how he saw them. I don't know how he saw some of these things. And just the elegance with which he played, the ease with which he played, how just the grace, and just how he just he played like in slow motion. And he just sort of brought everyone down to his pace of playing, similar to what Riquelme did. But at the same time, Totti was an insane talent. Totti was an insane freaking talent. He was an insane talent. Now, I don't think he had the passing ability of Ozil, and I don't think he had the vision, but he was a damn good passer. He was a very good dribbler. His ball control was freaking insane, and he could also goal score as well, and he could also take free kicks as well. So I think that when you look at, for Ozil's main talent is his vision and his passing. He was a pretty good dribbler as well, but I think his vision, and I think he had very good control. Very good control. But I think his main talent is, I don't think there are many people that had better vision and eye for a pass than Ozil. I think for Totti, it's his ball control. Amazing ball control. His dribbling, close control, passing, and creativity. I think he was very imaginative. The kinds of things that he was able to do was crazy. So as I look at this now, it's a tough one. It's a tough one because both were money. But I might have to give it to, I feel that Totti just had more to his game. Totti's vision wasn't as good as Ozil, but Totti did have good vision, and he had dribbling, and he was a very good finisher, and he scored some crazy, amazing goals, and he was also take free kicks as well. I don't think Ozil's free kick taking was as good as Totti. I don't think Ozil's finishing was as good as. I don't think his goal scoring was as good as him as well. And in terms of dribbling, I think Totti was probably a slightly better dribbler than Ozil. Just as Ozil's vision and passing is freaking insane. But I just think Totti had more. He had more to his game. And I think that we could have seen a bit more. So for talent, it's close. It's close between them, but I'm going to give it to Totti. Impact. Who was more impactful? This is a tough one. Because Totti was, Ozil's impact was huge. Because you have to remember, when did we first hear about Ozil? The 2010 World Cup. I've said this again. That Germany team, they were the best team on that World Cup. They were the best team in that World Cup. And Ozil was one of the main guys that said what's up at that World Cup. And he was freaking amazing. So once we first saw Ozil at that World Cup, we were like, oh, bro, who the heck is this dude? Who the heck is this dude? I think for Totti, because you have to remember, so obviously, so for some of you guys, I'm a bit older than you guys, so I remember Totti a lot more fresh than some of you guys. Totti was seen as the best number 10 in the world at the time. At the time, it was just agreed upon us football guys as the best number 10 in terms of, in the classic sense of creating and playmaking, was Totti. The reason why more was not made out of him was because he stayed at Roma. He stayed at Roma. If Totti had moved to AC Milan, Barcelona, Real Madrid, he would have been talked about a lot more. Roma is a small market. It's a simple, small market, but you had to basically, sort of you had to be there. If you were there at that time, early 2000s, so 2000, 01, 02, he was the best player in the world at his position. For Ozil, he was one of the best in the world. But remember, Ozil was at the same time as Iniesta. He was at the same time as Messi and all those guys. So you're looking at impact. I feel that Ozil's real big impact was at that World Cup. After that World Cup, he was still there, but he was still amongst the Real Madrid guys where people appreciated what he did, but was still amongst quality players in Real Madrid. I feel that he was known. Like Totti's impact was huge. So I think that, because remember, social media is different. So there was no social media really in 2001, 02. But I think if there was, everyone would be like, bro, who the heck is this guy? Because Totti was doing some of the most outrageous things. And you have to remember, he was doing some of the most outrageous things for Roma. For Roma. Who, yeah, they had Tomasi, they had Cafu, they had Batistuta, they had some ballers in that team. They had a few good guys. But imagine if you had put him, imagine if Totti was now playmaking for a Cristiano, playmaking for a Vieri, playmaking for a Shevchenko, for an Henry, then it would have been different. So from that sense, for impact, I'm going to have to give it to Totti. This is getting crazy. I'm gonna have to give it to him. So yeah, I mean, it's a close one, but I'm just looking at how they were regarded at the time. Yeah, I'm gonna have to give it to your boy Totti. For that, because I just think that I'm looking at them as an individual. Like, it also was huge, but I feel Totti was more spoken about as an individual at that time than Ozil was at that time, with them both at their peak. So I'm not counting Ozil at Arsenal, I'm counting Ozil at Real Madrid when he was freaking a playmaking demon. I just feel Totti was far more well regarded at that time. Resume. This is a tough one. This is a tough one. Because I'll tell you why this is tough. So let's go back to our other screen here. I'll tell you why this is tough. So neither won the Champions League, but they both won the World Cup. But here's where it gets tricky. So Ozil won the World Cup. Where was my man Zil? So Ozil won the World Cup, and it was a huge part of that World Cup. Now he only did one wrong thing. There was one wrong thing. It should have been 8-1 instead of 7-1. And people to this day are still angry that Ozil missed that chance in the second half. It should have been 8-1. He should have scored that chance. But Ozil was huge. He was huge for Germany. I believe he was also really huge, I think, in that Algeria game. But Ozil played his part. So it wasn't like, an Abulua where he was just on the bandwagon. No, there's no bandwagon. He was a major part of that team and a very important piece of what was a fantastic, outstanding Germany team in 2014. So he played his part. So World Cup winner and a major part. You see, for Totti, it's tricky. Totti did have a crucial role that he played, which of course was the oh God, what am I going to say? The penalty against Australia, which we're probably going to get onto afterwards. But he wasn't. So remember, this is '06, and this was Totti at the tail end of his career. Like peak Totti was 2000 to like '03. So 2000 to 03, 2000, 01, 02, 03 was peak Totti. So by '06, he was a bit part player in the team. And I think there were even rumblings that he was angry that he was a bench player, that he hardly played. So if he started, he'd get subbed off or he'd come off the bench. He was not a major player in the World Cup. So yes, he played his role, but Ozil played a much greater role for that World Cup win than Totti did for this World Cup win. So so for the resume, it leans more towards for Ozil, because for me, when we do resume, it's not just what you have. So there's no Abaloa tax. It's the trophies you won, your contributions to those trophies. Ozil's contribution was more for Totti. But this is where it gets tricky. Where it gets tricky is this. So Totti never left Roma. He stayed at Roma for his entire career. Winning a league with Roma, that's insane. That's insane. Because you're not supposed to win the league if you're not Juventus, AC Milan, Inter Milan, or any of those guys. So the fact that he stayed and he led them to, I believe it was in '01, I think it was the 2001 season, and led them to a league win, that is, for me, that's greater than his World Cup win. Like his greatest achievement, Totti's greatest achievement was leading Roma to a Scudetto win, a league win. Where, remember, this is 2001 where Juve were strong, AC Milan were strong, Inter were strong. All those three guys were strong. So to do that was huge. And he was a major part of that league win. So when you put it like that, I I've got to give the resume to your boy. I've got to give you the resume to your boy, because what swings it is that league win. I think neither of them won the Champions League. I think they all have league titles. But that league title that Totti had with Roma is huge. That's huge. I'm sorry, like that is such a huge dub. It is such a huge dub that because of that weighs heavy. That weighs heavy. Him winning the league with Roma was insane. It was absolutely insane. So for resume, I'm gonna have to give it to Totti. L's. Who are the bigger L's? So I had to really think about this. As to who had the bigger L's here. Because I was trying to think, okay, what were Ozil's L's? Okay, at Arsenal, it didn't really turn out well. It sort of fell out with him with Arsenal. Okay. He sort of fell out with people at Germany. Okay. So, yeah, so the way his Arsenal career ended may not have been so great based on how good he was. And I think of Totti's L's. So this was a tough one to think about, but there is a moment. There is a moment that's because I'm about to say, like, Totti, I don't know how many L's that Totti has. I don't know how many L's that Ozil has. Like, there are no real L's that really come out at me. So I'm like, what is it? This is the most intentional foul I've ever seen in my life. So Totti, for some reason, was frustrated with Balotelli, super frustrated with him. And he was so frustrated, he ran all the way to Balotelli and fully, intentionally kicked him on his leg. And then basically he got a straight red. Eto was trying to square with him, and then Eto was okay, fine. Because Totti just knew that, yeah, I'm going to be sent off. So for me, because when people ask me, okay, what is the most intentional foul you've ever seen in your life? This is it. This is the most vicious, premeditated, intentional foul I've ever seen in my life, ever in my life. And I believe this was the Coppa Italia final. And I'm sorry, like, it was so egregious, so ridiculous, so messed up to intentionally foul a guy like that. That, like, you know what? Yeah. So for me, in terms of an L, for that, I think it swings over to I think Totti has a bigger L there. So I'm going to say L's goes for Ozil, because I think Ozil never stooped to that low. He never stooped that low. So for that, I'm going to give it to your boy Zil there. Iconic. Who has the most iconic moments, or who had the most iconic moments? There are a few here, so I was thinking. Had me thinking, man. So for Totti, I have sort of two. For Totti, hopefully I have them here. Yeah. So the first one is, where is it? There we go. Yeah. So this is sort of iconic, because down to 10 men against Australia, World Cup. I believe this is in the second round. Grosso, player of the tournament, gets fouled. Someone has to step up to take a clutch penalty, because if Italy missed this penalty, which I believe was like in the 90th minute, you're now going into extra time a man down. Not the most ideal situation. So someone had to step up to take a penalty. So huge pressure, massive pressure. And this is a penalty that you have to score, specifically because you're down to 10 men and it's a golden opportunity to win. Totti steps up, and the balls to put that into the top corner direct is huge. So, because I remember watching it live, I'm like, bro, do you know how much pressure there is on this penalty? And the audacity to, first of all, go for power, go for height, and go right into the top corner, knowing that you could easily go over the bar. So for me, I was like, that was huge. A huge, massive, iconic moment, and one of the key moments that led to Italy winning the World Cup. But I thought one that was more iconic, and this is what you have to go and see, bro, his goal against Inter Milan. So I think it's his chipped goal against Inter Milan. Insane. Absolutely insane. If you go and look at that goal again, it's an insane goal. It's an absolutely insane goal where he runs, goes through, sees the keeper off his line, and he fakes as if he's going to shoot, totally bamboozles the defender who blocks as if Totti's going to shoot, but then goes for the chip. When you just watch it, you're like, yeah, this is why this guy was just as a footballer, he was on a different level, man. As a footballer, Totti was on a whole different level. Amazing. But with that being said, this might be one of the greatest passes I've ever seen. And also just had some incredible passes. But Ozil passed this ball into nothing. Basically, when he passes the ball, there was no one there. And this pass perfectly exemplified his vision, which is he was thinking 5 steps ahead. So if you look at this right now, he's passing the ball into space. But because he knows Kolasinac is going to make that run, and look at all of those defenders, because nobody can see what's behind them. He's the only guy that sees, oh yeah, he's going to run into that space. I know he's going to be in that space. So by the time that ball goes over, Kolasinac is going to be there. And I think he did that to Kolasinac one time. He did it once to Monreal, where there was a point where Monreal was not even in the screen. He passed the ball, Mourinho comes to the screen and now says, what's up? And he did that so many times, which is why I say, like, when we talked about talent, in terms of vision, Ozil saw things that no other footballer saw. No other footballer saw what the kind of thing that Ozil saw. So, taking that into account, man, they both had iconic moments, but the strength of the iconic moments, of the truly memorable moments, this guy's passing, man. His passing was insane. Like his passing was absolutely insane. His passing was absolutely freaking insane. It was on a whole other level. His passing, sorry, his passing was on a completely total other level. Completely insane. Completely, absolutely insane, man. Just superb. Absolutely superb. So for iconic, I'm going to give it to your boy Ozil, man. So where are we at? Longevity. Tricky one. Longevity. You know? Actually, hold up. I'm gonna wait, hold on. Let me do this one first. Let me do legacy. Let's do legacy. Let's do legacy. Because the longevity one, that's tricky. But let's do legacy. So for who has the greater legacy here? You see, this is a difficult one to win because I think this feels as if this could be generational. Because for people of a certain age, sorry, wrong one. For people of a certain age, so we see people of my age group or older, Totti's legacy is set. As in, he's one of the best number 10s of all time. But I think people younger than me, I'm not sure whether Totti hits the same. I'm not sure whether he hits the same. Whereas if you look at Ozil, I think Ozil's legacy is set for this generation. As in, when you just see how it's regarded, how people talk about it, people are like, no. This guy was one of the best numbers and one of the best playmakers. So how I do this legacy thing is 10 years from now, 20 years from now, how people be talked about. So I've got to really be objective here. So we can say, we're now 20 years, not 20, but 7 years away from Totti's retirement. And how is Totti regarded? I don't think Totti is talked about. Put it this way. So let's say, Totti and Totti and Henry were around at the same time. Now you can say La Liga tax, Serie A tax, but they were at the same time. Who is more well regarded, Henry? So let's keep it within the same league. Totti and R9. R9 for Inter Milan is better regarded. Let's Shevchenko. Kaka. Because I think Kaka was sort of around the same time so I think Kaka really exploded 05, 06, 07. So that was, you can already say that they sort of overlapped. Yes, you could argue they sort of overlapped. Totti and Kaka. Kaka is more highly regarded, even now, than Totti was. So I don't think Totti's legacy is as strong as other players of his generation at the time, like a Shevchenko, a Kaka, and all of those guys. But for Ozil, I do believe that in 5, 10, 20, 12 years' time, his legacy will be strong. And why is that? His role for that Germany team in winning the World Cup, as well as his debut for that Germany team in 2010, and that Germany team, even if they didn't win the World Cup, they were the best team at that World Cup, and he was one of the best players at that World Cup, and Real Madrid. So I think what goes against Totti was he was in the small market of Roma and the Serie A as well, even though the Serie A was bigger at the time. But for Ozil, because he's at Real Madrid and the massive platform of Real Madrid, and he was playing at the height of El Clasico, some of the best matches in club football history, and his role there and how crucial, how important he was, being arguably one of the best playmakers in the world, I think his legacy is stronger. I think his legacy is stronger, and I think he'll be remembered more. So 20 years from now, 25 years from now, based on those El Clasico games, playing for Real Madrid and how good he was for one of the biggest clubs in the world, that legacy is strong. So for that, that's why I feel that legacy, gonna have to give it to your boy. Um, and now we go to longevity. So this is tricky. On face value, it's Totti. Bro, 20 years in the league, and he was still good. And he was still money. But the thing for Ozil was different teams, different leagues. So that's what makes this interesting, because for Ozil, Bundesliga, Werder Bremen, International, Germany, Spain, Real Madrid, England, Arsenal, and in all three teams, he was good. So in all three teams, he was good. So if you see, from my thing for longevity is that's all. I add nuance here. It's not just, oh, you were playing for a long time, fine. No, how long were you playing for? How good were you? And how relevant were you? So what was your quality? So yes, Totti played for a very long time. After 06, 07, 08, 09, was he still relevant? So it's one thing, you were playing for a long time, but were you still playing at a high level? So the longevity thing is, for how long were you playing at a high level? If you were playing, a guy playing 50 years as a brick, and a guy playing 10 years as a quality player, I'm choosing the guy who plays 10 years as a quality player. Oh, he played for 50 years, but he played 50 years as a brick. Not saying Totti is a brick, but using that as an example. But for Ozil was amazing for Werder Bremen. So superb. He was amazing, superb for Real Madrid. He was amazing for Arsenal. So for three teams, he was amazing. And that spans from 2010 to like 2016, 2017. So he said, what's up? He said, what's up? So yeah, it's tricky. It's tricky because I think from '08 was when we really saw Ozil say what's up, and up until I think 2021 was when he then left Arsenal. But Totti, he's been for Roma since 1993. Since 1993. So I'm gonna give it. You've got to give it to Totti, and the reason why I'm going to give it to Totti is this: to play at a single club from 1993 to be from 93 to 2017, and even if his relevance fell through, bro, there were some games where he was still good. There were some games where he was still good. Like there were some games where the guy, like your boy, he was still good. Because to play from 93 to 2017 is insane. So what he made 600 appearances. 600 appearances is insane. Because Ozil, so remember, Ozil has had at Schalke 06 to 08, then Werder Bremen 08 to 2013. So you see, he made 400 appearances in total. So Totti almost made 200 more appearances. But the issue though is that at Werder Bremen, you were quality. Madrid, you were quality. Arsenal, you were quality. It's a tough one. Because the reason why I'm undecided is because Totti was amazing. No, sorry. Totti, that is a super long career. But after 06, you were no longer relevant after 06. So really, it's really from, I would argue, like 2000 to 06. So I would say it's really 6 years of relevance for Totti. Because after other 06 World Cup, you were no longer relevant. Whereas that for Ozil, you could argue from 2010 to from 2010 to you don't 2013, you know what? So from 2010 to 2017, 2018, he was relevant. So for about a good 7-8 years, he was relevant. So I'm going to give it to Totti. I'm going to give it to Totti because to play for that long and here's the thing, to play for that long and still be good. Because even when he was super old, the guy was still functioning. So to still actually be of somewhat of quality and to 600 appearances, because at no point was where, so this is it, Buffon. At no point where you're saying, bro, mate, retire, you're embarrassing yourself. Cristiano, embarrassing himself. So at no point, okay, this guy's old, but at no point was like, nah, man, this guy needs to retire. I was like, okay, he's old, he's not as fast, but he's still showing some stuff, even at his age. And for a guy playing this long, he's still showing some stuff. So for that, I'm going to give him the longevity, man. So yeah, that was a good little battle, man. So there we go. 4-3 to Totti over Ozil. Gain access to more content crack. Think about becoming a Patreon member. Click the link below in the description box or head over to patreon.com/halfhope and gain access to more content crack. Let's ride.